Hello and welcome to the February Magma community meeting. I do expect a few more people here based on the RSVPs, but I do think we need to get started anyway. So just as a word of introduction, this is a Zoom call tonight. We've had everyone join the bridge pre-muted, and for the benefit of the call, if you could stay on mute unless you're asking a question or actively participating, that would really help us out quite a lot. I also wanted to remind everyone that the community meeting is really an introductory affair, and it's intended as a project review, a very high level status update, and the main focus is an open Q&A session from everyone who's joined us on the bridge this evening. Joining me this evening is Kendall Waters from the OIF, Allison also from the OIF, and from Facebook, what the project technical lead, Amar Padmanabhan, and Michael Germano. And I do expect Echo Taylor, yes, I see him on the bridge as well, who's handling DevOps and release management for the project, who will be available during the Q&A. So really, I just want to go through a very high-level review of the Magma project for the people that have joined us this evening, and hopefully we can get through that in just 5 or 10 minutes and leave the rest of the time for all of you. And just for the evening, we are going to go through a quick project overview, a summary of the Magma Dev Conference that we've just had, and we'll be posting a link to the videos from that conference in the chat. It's also up on the magmacore.org website. We've got a quick project status update on the imminent 1.4 release, and then the bulk of the time this evening will be for Q&A. So just a reminder, Magma's mission is to bring more people online by enabling service providers with flexible, open, and extensible carrier-grade networks. And Magma is designed from the very beginning to be an open platform. Open in that it is open source and publicly available, but also open in that it is flexible. It is designed to be easily extensible, and from the very beginning, reliability is built into the design approach that we've used for Magma. Magma itself is built from 3 major components. The main body of Magma is the access gateway itself, which provides the 3GPP LTE access gateway function, or the serving gateway, P gateway, MME, and an embedded HSS function. We also provide carrier-managed Wi-Fi services embedded in the access gateway, and are developing 5G capabilities, and we'll talk just a little bit about that this evening briefly. The second major component of Magma is an orchestrator, which is typically deployed more centrally, and each orchestrator can manage a collection of access gateways in order to do configuration, alerting, operational support, and reporting. And then lastly, Magma comes with a federation gateway. Internally, many of the interfaces of Magma are not designed to the 3GPP standards, and the federation gateway provides access to the gateway using standard 3GPP interfaces for other mobile networks, other elements of a mobile network operator's core. So together, Magma is intended to provide all access convergence, whether it's 4G, 5G, LTE in the future, extensible to other access technologies as things evolve. It's independent of vendors, and by vendor independent, that includes the platform that it runs on, the eNodeBs that it interoperates with, and transport agnostic, meaning that we don't have any pre-required transport capabilities like you might find in a closed network. We can also provide local breakout for internet traffic. The internet traffic is broken directly away from the access gateway rather than carried to a central place, designed to be highly available, and in the process of being containerized so that we can deploy it in a more microservices architecture. It's also built with or managed using a set of open REST APIs that allows you to interoperate with outside management systems, outside reporting systems in an open way just by implementing to the REST API. Apologies for the animations in the slide. Internally, Magma is broken up functionally so that the core of Magma that implements the management of bearer traffic, the management of sessions, the management of policy, etc., is common, regardless of whether the ultimate access technology is 4G or 5G or carrier Wi-Fi or, in the future, other potential technologies. It's built using a declarative set state model rather than command response transactions. And really, we believe that it's designed in a way that is for the future and will be extensible as Magma continues to grow. Magma is contributed by, currently, Facebook Connectivity, the Open Air Interface Software Alliance, the Open Infrastructure Foundation, with contributions also from Radisys, ACL Digital, Freedom Fi, and Wave Labs. And it is among all of the open source EPC systems that we know of, by far the most active project, and it's got a number of contributions per week and is developing very actively and very rapidly. 2 weeks ago, we held our first Magma Developers Conference as a fully open source project. And the key message of that conference was about Magma's role in connecting people to a faster internet. We were also, at that time, able to announce that Magma is now part of the Linux Foundation and is hosted as a Linux Foundation project, which is actually very exciting and opens a lot of opportunities and cooperative opportunities for us. And during the conference, we were able to demonstrate progress towards our 5G development, which will be coming in March, perhaps the end of March. We'll be able to release that. And also a very exciting demonstration of Magma running on AWS Snowcone, and a not quite one-click deployment of Magma, but a very easy deployment in a cloud environment and integrating with the cloud edge devices like Snowcone. We had a mix of user stories, project information, academic and industry partners, and it was very well attended and from all over the world. And Kendall has placed in the chat links to a YouTube playlist that contains videos of all of the material there. And I think for this group, it would be very interesting and very helpful for you to be able to take a look at what was posted as part of that conference. So I want to talk about the project status and our release 1.4 update. We talked about this in February, and it's been delayed as we go through a more extensive and thorough test regimen than we've done for our prior releases. We want to make sure that when 1.4 is released as a package, that it is of very high quality and very stable. And so we're taking a much longer time to get through that. There's still a couple of issues holding up the release, and again, we hope that we can get that out in about 2 to 3 weeks, or in the mid-March timeline. And Echo is on the chat or on the call this evening if there are questions about status. I'm not going to go through in detail the major features of the release. There's a few of them listed here. We are pretty excited about this release, even though it doesn't have a lot of feature content coming. It will be a much more stable and much more reliable product by the time that we bring it out. Among other things, we have support for fully federated subscribers, and a way to view the active set of policies for each session, which is a great help in debugging and operation of your network. And then finally, the stateless mode operation, which allows components of the access gateway to recover after a fault without loss of user state or user function, is also a very exciting capability coming in this release. Stateless has been in the platform in the past, but it's now been proven well enough that it can be enabled by default. And then there's a number of features that are to be delivered post 1.4. The most interesting of these is our support for 4G capabilities, full support of Release 15 compliance is coming, and then a number of upgrades, including the 5G standalone integration, which has been a big part of our work with Magma over the last 6 months. Before we jump into the Q&A, I just want to give a few reminders. If you want to see more about what's going on with Magma, you're of course welcome to visit our project website at magmacore.org. The code is all available and publicly available, licensed under BSD 3-clause license on github.com/magma/magma. There's a couple of other things in the Magma organization, like our website, which is why you get the double Magma there. Perhaps the most interesting thing that you can do is join our Slack. And this is a very ugly link or URL to put up on a slide, on a chat, on a thing like this. Perhaps again, Kendall, if you could copy that into the chat. And then by joining the Slack, you can join the conversation with people who are actively developing the project and learn how you can contribute yourself. And then I've left a note about the Magma Developers Conference there. Obviously that's in the past, but the videos are up on the website. So with that, I want to turn this over to a Q&A to the community. And we have with us Amar Padmanabhan, Echo, who handles a lot of our DevOps activity, and Michael Germano, who's been a very key developer throughout the life of the Magma project, as well as myself and Allison and Kendall, who can answer community and organizational questions. Please, if you would, could you introduce yourself? And if you're representing a company, let us know who that is as well, just so that the community can hear who's raising questions.
Hey, my name is Shubham. So I've been just looking into Magma from last month. So actually, I was very curious about the deployment of how the things are deploying and how things are connecting and how we can build our own LTE network out of Magma. It's a very nice open source project. So I've I'm doing like I've deployed it and multiple versions, got some bugs, fixed some bugs, made some PRs. So I'm trying to more actively work on this and see okay how these things goes. Yeah.
Shubham, welcome. We're glad to have you with us. Are you operating independently or working for someone as you do this?
So we are a group of people who are trying to. It's not a company, I would say, but it's a research kind of project. We have a small team of three people. We are doing research on Magma and deployment part, understanding its all layers, what it can give us, and if we are able to understand, okay, this can be we can convert this to some viable business where we can provides IT LTE solutions to vendors or something. So it's right now in a research phase, not an organization, I would say.
Again, well, welcome to the community. Um, uh, you said that you've raised some PRs. Have those been raised back onto the community site, or is that something you're doing in your own branch?
Actually, when I found a bug, I just discussed this on the Slack channel. There we discussed, okay, this can be fixed. So about that, I just create a PR on the Magma code.
Oh, that's excellent. And did you find the response that you got on the Slack helpful?
Yeah, very much helpful. Like in the Slack Magma Dev channel, actually, I've been spamming a lot of messages for last couple of weeks. So also getting replies. And like a few hours back, Sudhi and Andre called me, and for hour and a half we discussed, okay, how what are the problems I'm facing in terms of NMS deployment and how we can fix that. So we are still working on that, one on one even also. So community is very helpful.
Oh, that's very good to hear. That's very good feedback and appreciate that you've been able to engage that way.
Yeah, and thanks for the solid questions, right? So, yeah, it looks like you put in the effort, so you're not asking very basic questions. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else this evening?
Yeah, hi, this is Jordan. I'm with Connect 5G. I'm working on porting Magma to ARM64 architecture. And recently we had some development together with ARM. I mean, some of the people are already members of the channel where we are working. So you can see that finally we managed to start the AGW on ARM64 architecture, but we were facing lots of problems with the whole build system. So, I mean, I will try to speak with Echo later on one-on-one, try to see how we can improve the build system. Because currently with the Vagrant build system, we were facing huge problems to compile it, to do the porting on ARM64. So we were forced to convert everything into a Docker build system. So this would be good if we are able to, find a way how to contribute this work. And also, I mean, I will start next week pushing lots of things which we are fixing in order to make things work and compile.
That's awesome. Thanks for that. So the other suggestion that I have is that there's a weekly Thursday morning meeting at 9 a.m. Pacific. So I don't know which geography you're in, but hopefully that uh, time zone works for you. But there are a bunch of like DevOps engineers who are part of that call. So they can probably also help with a little bit of like build system improvements, and it might be something that you can just bring up in the open, and then we can figure out the right way to prioritize it.
Yeah, I'm in a very bad time zone for that meeting. It's early morning here with me, so I'm plus 12 hours. So
Plus 12, so 9 a.m. Pacific is 9 p.m. for you. Okay,
PM
got it.
my time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll try to join next time. I mean, I'll write a couple of documents to propose and to explain what we did. Also, there is GitHub available, a repository on GitHub available on the Slack channel, which I've posted. So if somebody wants to see it, it's in the Magma on ARM channel. So if somebody wants to check before, you can go and check. I mean, it's still work in progress, but basically it's working. The build works on x86 and ARM as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks again. I just caught up on it, but thanks for your contributions.
Yeah, thanks. And I'd like to connect with you again to see how we can get you plugged into some of the working with other people and some of our things that we have, so this work can be shared more broadly. Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's actually very exciting work. Although a lot of people don't get very excited about DevOps and build tools and the tool chain that you need to build it. I personally think that is the key to a successful project. So Echo, you are available on the Slack as well if Jordan wants to direct message you.
Yeah, so he's actually started a channel.
I've just add Echo to the channel where we are discussing this even the build over there.
That's outstanding, and appreciate you putting the effort into that.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Oh, excuse me. I have a question. I noticed that there's a new project, Magma in Linux Foundation. Is the same project with us?
I'm sorry, there were some audio gaps as you were speaking. If I could ask you to repeat that.
Yeah. We noticed that Linux Foundation announced a new project, also named Magma. I'm confused if it is the same project.
Yes, what the Linux Foundation announced is that our project, this community, Magma, has joined the Linux Foundation as a member project within their organization. So it's not another project named Magma, it is this project has joined Linux Foundation.
Okay, but here I think Magma is open infrastructure foundation's project now.
Yeah, that's actually a very good observation. And what we've done is a little bit unique. And I've put up this chart again. While the Magma project has joined the Linux Foundation, the Open Infrastructure Foundation and the Open Air Interface Software Alliance have also continued on the Magma project as premier members of the Magma governing board. And in that way, we've been able to keep the leadership that we've had and the great contributions that we've had from both of those organizations active in the ongoing community. It's a very novel arrangement to get these three development foundations that typically are seen as competitive operating together in support of one project, and we're very excited about that.
Oh,
We also have commitment from a number of significant players. You see on this list, Deutsche Telekom and Arm and Qualcomm have also been listed as members of the Magma Foundation, and they participated in our joint press release and are going to be part of the governing board of the foundation.
oh, good. Awesome. Oh, good. This picture. Okay. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. And we can talk more about that offline if you want to message me on the Slack. We can discuss it as well.
Okay, yes. Actually, we are both Linux Foundation member and also Open member. So, in Linux Foundation, will Magma going to the Linux Foundation networking foundation or in the Linux Foundation?
Yes. So,
Set up a new, they always say, the sub foundation or the umbrella foundation.
uh, Magma is joining the Linux Foundation as an independent project, and it is not under the influence or under the as a sub project of LF Networking or LF Edge or the other aggregated groups. So it's staying independent of those for now. Although we anticipate LF Networking and LF Edge will be key partners as we develop.
Okay, thank you. That's my question.
Yeah. We certainly have time for more questions if there is more.
Yeah, I have another question. How are we planning to grow our community?
That's actually a very good question. There's quite a lot of outreach going on right now with a number of partners or parties who would like to join and contribute to the foundation. A lot of them are startup organizations that are looking for something like Magma where they can contribute back the work that they've done. I'm not able to announce any of those today because there's no agreement in place to have them join, as well as bringing in major organizations. You saw in the initial announcement, Deutsche Telekom and Arm and Qualcomm have committed to join the foundation and are committing to provide developer resources into the project to augment what we're already getting from the OAI Software Alliance and Facebook Connectivity and the Telecom Infra Project and the other organizations that have been contributing. We're actively engaged in outreach, but the best thing that we can do together as a community to help the growth of the project is to get Magma deployed in live networks. And the most effective driver for continued development and effective feature development on the platform would be to have people that are building real networks feed us back their desired features or the bugs that they find or the other things, so that we get a feedback loop going out of real deployments. So if there are places where you see application for Magma, please do feed them back to us, and we'll look to see how we can support projects as they need to deploy.
Okay, so I had an idea like because we are using AWS and Kubernetes and all these, if we want to like expand our community, we can just, if there are any events or meetups or conferences, we can go there. Let's say if there is an AWS conference, we can go there. Okay, how we are utilizing AWS to provide an LTE network. If there is a Kubernetes conference, we can do the same. So other communities know about us, we exist, and we are doing something different.
Absolutely, that's right on line with what we intend to do. One of the things that we're planning to do is, as Open Infra has conferences coming up, we'll be participating with them. As the Linux Foundation has conferences and events, for example, we're exploring the possibility of a significant participation at KubeCon, which is not certain at this point, but it looks like we will be able to have some level of participation there as well. And those are active community building things that we're engaged in. So right spot on with how we intend to go.
Yeah, another way we can also set up our own small local meetup groups. This way, okay, we have a community in some state and some other state. We can see if there is a community manager who can handle these meetups, and just for the awareness, even if we are like doing same talks again and we are getting new members in, if we are showing them, okay, same demo, how anyone can deploy their own private LTE network or something like that, something which excites people. Like in the Magma conference, I saw, okay, we just deployed a network on a laptop and we were able to access 5G on a mobile. So something like that, which excites people.
Very good. That's a great suggestion. Jan, I noticed you unmuted a while ago. Was there a question you wanted to bring?
No.
Okay.
How you doing? It's Charles Lucas. Question, looking back at your core features and the features to be completed post 1.4, I see 5G being mentioned post 1.4. Wasn't 5G, at least fixed wireless, planned in the 1.4 release? Is that just not on the slide?
Yeah, it is planned in the 1.4 release. Let me just pop forward to that. When I say post 1.4, we're in a position right now where we still have a couple of problems completing our full test suite for what we're willing to release as a 5G fixed wireless service. And as a project, we made a decision that we wouldn't hold the 1.4 release in order to complete those, but that we would release the 5G capability as a point release shortly after 1.4 was completed. Since that decision was made, the release of 1.4 itself has slowed down a little bit as we ran into some test gaps, and the target for when we might have the 5G capabilities done, which is mid March, and when we'll be able to release 1.4, are that gap is closing, and so there may need to be some relook at that. But I would offer today that 1.4 will get released as is, and that the 5G capability will still follow as a point release shortly after that.
Yeah. So to add some more color here, 5G functionality is not complete within the 1.4 scope. So 1.4 as planned will not, we're not highlighting 5G as a feature that is supported. Is planned for the 1.5 release, which is somewhere down the horizon beyond 1.4.
So Charles, maybe we can ask a follow-up question of you. So is there something that you're particularly looking for?
Well, particularly, we're trying to set up, the group I'm working for is trying to set up a 5G test bed, if you will. So we're looking at trying to stand stuff up and integrate it. And I'm currently doing that with struggling because we're not putting it on AWS, which is what you guys have tooled for. Trying to deploy it onto Azure, or even a private cloud like OpenStack, but having some challenges with the orchestrator I'm trying to work through on your Slack. But primarily we're looking at setting up a 5G test bed. So that's why I'm looking at what time frame to expect to have something that we can start actually connecting 5G stuff. And I still don't have the 5G radio stuff on hand yet either. It's on order and we're expecting it shortly, but one of those things, we have schedules that people think we're going to meet, and I just want to know how much this potentially impacts it.
Got
So-
it. Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead, Omar.
Yeah. So I think the thing that at least even in our official communication, right? So 5G is like sort of alpha grade, right? So even in mid-March, it's going to be alpha grade. We'd love to work with you and the research community to understand what are the things that you're looking for, and if there are any breakages, we're happy to fix that. But really, the goal that we have for beta is end of June, and so it depends on what your tolerance is for a co-development effort versus like something that's fairly shrink wrapped and works right off the bat.
That depends. Yeah, we're just looking primarily at the fixed wireless currently. So it depends on what state we're talking about as an alpha. I think we're okay with that. It's just that, we'll definitely help report anything we find. But
Yeah.
we just need something to, especially once I have hardware on site and we have everything running, then they're going to really looking at me hard to get the software up and running on everything.
And Charles, the other thing we can talk to you about offline, and again, this is something you can start with myself, a DM on the Slack. Everything that's in the 5G release is being committed to the same release or the same branch within the Magma code as everything else, because we use a single branch development model for Magma. And even if it's not picked into release at the mid-March or so timeline, you would be able to pull the code. It would be a much more manual process perhaps, and we'd have to work on the build tools to have it work for you. But if you're willing to work with us on that and help us through the final effort of making it ready, that would actually be helpful to the whole community as well, and we'd love to have you participate that way.
Yeah, I'm sure my group is open to that because we're reasonably committed to using Magma as our 5G core. I'm just trying to make sure if there's anything I need to take back with them and make sure they understand any slight slippages we may encounter with this. Just don't want to surprise anyone later, right?
Yeah. The only, as I listen to your question, I hear a mixed message about participating in development and understanding the alpha and early stage nature of the product is perfect, and we'd love to have you participate with us. But then you follow with justifying slippages to management, and it sounds like you're looking for something more polished and complete. And I just we probably have to find a balance between those two as we work together.
Yeah, it's more of to make sure they understand that the timeline is changing a little bit, but it's just to make sure we communicate clearly and don't shock them down the road, right?
Yeah, and we're very interested in having people join us as active community members who are not just using the product, but also contributing back what they're working on, and we'd love to have you join us in that way. Thank you.
Awesome. If you're comfortable sharing, Charles, would you be okay sharing what is the group that you're affiliated with, so we just get a bearing?
It's the open programmable secure 5G which has been in the news recently.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So I was also thinking it would be good to follow up this conversation so we can talk more specifically about how to align our timelines. So I can ping you on Slack to see how we can move that forward.
Thank you. Others this evening? We have about 45 or 15 minutes left. We're at 45 past the hour.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
This is Ian from China Mobile, and this is my first time to join the Magma meeting. And I see in the Magma architecture there is a orchestrator. I would like to know, in the Linux Foundation networking, we also have the own app. It also can be orchestrated SDN and NFV network. And so I would like to know what's the difference between the Magma's orchestrator with other popular orchestrators.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and I have personally learned to dislike the word orchestrator because it means too many things to too many different people. But if you put Magma in the context of ONAP, you could think of Magma's orchestrator as the local domain orchestrator for Magma, and that Magma's APIs that it provides uh, are the hooks to an upstream interface to the larger scope orchestrator like ONAP. Now, ONAP's framework is not quite that clean, so that description is not perfect. But in context, the Magma orchestrator is providing that local domain orchestration function for the access gateway and the eNode B or future gNode Bs that are operating underneath the Magma access gateway, and then reporting status and metrics and things back to that outside orchestrator tool through its API model.
Okay. And from understanding, and you mean the Ogma orchestrator can coordinate with the upstream orchestrator.
Yes.
And another question, from the current introduction, I would like to know whether the Magma can orchestrate the open area interface open source 5G network elements, including the wireless and core network elements.
Yeah, I didn't quite get the question. There was some static in the audio. Um, if you don't mind asking again for clarity.
Yes, I want to know whether the Magma can orchestrate the open air interface. The open air interface open source 5G network elements, including wireless and core network elements.
Got it. So whether the Magma orchestrator can manage the code that the Open Air Interface Software Alliance has published for their core. And I think the answer at this point is probably no. Uh, there is an ongoing effort to harmonize the work that is going on in Magma with what the Open Air Interface Software Alliance has developed. As you may have heard in the 4G configuration, OAI has stopped development of their MME function and is using the Magma MME function as their baseline product while they continue to do some feature work on 5G. But their 5G work has not integrated back into Magma yet, and so we can't make claim that our orchestrator could manage it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, and welcome. I'm glad you could join us.
Okay, thank you.
We probably have time for a couple of more, if there are any. And if not, I don't want to keep anyone on the bridge longer than is necessary. So I want to say thank you for joining us this evening. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to join us. And again, please, the active work is happening, communication on the Slack, and you'll find multiple discussions going on. And you've heard already tonight a couple of people who have joined us there recently and very successfully started contributing back into the project. So want to thank everyone for joining us, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.